Have you ever felt paralyzed, knowing you should be doing something important, but somehow can't take the first step? Procrastination is a common issue, but it can be devastating. It's estimated that over 80% of people procrastinate in some way, delaying decisions and actions that could transform their lives, and it impacts our self-esteem, confidence, and ultimately, our results. Do you recognize yourself in this situation? But what if you knew that it's possible to break this cycle of self-sabotage and start taking action? Now, imagine living with more clarity, making decisions with confidence, and finally feeling in control of your own life. You can transform the way you approach your goals and dreams. The key to doing this lies in understanding the roots of procrastination and learning how to face it practically and effectively. In this video, we'll explore how procrastination can be overcome, unlocking your potential to live a life filled with purpose and true joy. We'll show you how small steps can lead to big changes. If you're ready to make a change and take the first step toward your transformation, keep watching until the end. The solution is within your reach. Procrastination is more than just putting tasks off. It is a deep habit, often rooted in our fears and insecurities. When we delay things, we are sabotaging ourselves, even if we don't realize it. It could be a simple task or a major goal. But procrastination always keeps us in our comfort zone, keeping us away from the changes we desire. Now you may be asking yourself, why does this happen to me? Procrastination is often linked to the fear of failure. When we don't feel 100% prepared or confident, our minds convince us that putting off a task is a way to avoid discomfort. And for a moment, it feels good. But soon, guilt starts to take over. This behavior creates a vicious cycle. You delay, feel guilty, and then delay even more. And so, the cycle never ends. This pattern of procrastination doesn't just affect productivity. It affects our emotional life as well. How do you feel when you realize that you're not making progress toward your goals? It can seem like time is slipping by and nothing is being done to improve the situation. The consequences are many. Anxiety, stress, and, of course, a sense that we're not living our lives with purpose. Procrastination can make you feel like you're in a race against time without ever reaching the finish line. But what if you could change all of that? What if procrastination wasn't a barrier, but an opportunity to grow and take action? The good news is that yes, it's possible to reverse this situation. You have the power to overcome procrastination. The first step is understanding what's behind it, and from there, developing practical strategies to overcome it. How? By starting with a simple shift in mindset. Think of something you've been procrastinating on. What's stopping you from taking action? Fear of failure, a lack of clarity about where to start, or maybe you feel overwhelmed by the number of tasks you need to complete. The key to overcoming procrastination lies in taking the first step. Small, consistent steps are far more effective than waiting for the perfect moment that never arrives. The secret is in starting, even if it's with something small. Now, I want to hear from you. What task or goal have you been procrastinating on that you know deep down you need to start? Leave a comment below and share with me. I want to know what the first step is that you're going to take to overcome procrastination and start living with more purpose and joy. And if this video is resonating with you, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content that will help you transform your life. Now, take a deep breath and get ready to take action. You are ready to take the first step. Procrastination doesn't just happen for no reason. Often, it is deeply linked to fears and limiting beliefs that we don't always recognize right away. Let's explore some of the most common causes of procrastination to better understand what fuels it, so we can effectively combat it. One of the primary causes of procrastination is the fear of failure. How many times have you put something off because you are afraid of not doing it the right way? This fear can be paralyzing, and the mind tells us it's better to do nothing than to fail. The problem is that by delaying a task, you not only waste time, but also validate that limiting belief that you're not capable. Fear stops us from taking action, but it also stops us from growing. We become trapped in this cycle of inaction, believing that avoiding the task is somehow safer than facing it. Another important factor is lack of clarity. When we don't know exactly what needs to be done or how to start, procrastination tends to set in. Instead of moving toward our goals, we stay stuck, trying to figure out where to begin or searching for the perfect strategy. The truth is, there is no perfect way, and this only creates more uncertainty and more procrastination. The feeling of being overwhelmed by uncertainty often makes the task seem bigger than it really is. This uncertainty fuels hesitation and stalls progress. In addition, perfectionism is a major enemy. Many of us believe that if we can't do something perfectly, we shouldn't do it at all. This prevents us from taking consistent action because we are always waiting for the perfect moment or perfect conditions. And, as you've probably noticed, that moment never comes. The pursuit of perfection paralyzes us and keeps us from doing what truly matters. We end up stuck, thinking that the only way to succeed is to get everything exactly right, which causes us to avoid even starting. Another key reason for procrastination is the fear of judgment. Many people procrastinate because they fear being judged or criticized for their work. This fear can be paralyzing, especially when it comes to sharing your work with others or taking risks in your life. The thought of facing criticism or rejection stops us from taking that first step. But the reality is, judgment is part of life, and the fear of it only holds us back from reaching our potential. Finally, lack of motivation also plays a significant role in procrastination. When we aren't fully aligned with the task at hand, or it doesn't bring us immediate pleasure, we tend to push it aside. This creates a cycle where the motivation fades even more, causing us to delay tasks that could bring great changes to our lives. Motivation is a tricky thing. It's often fleeting, and relying on it alone to drive our actions can be dangerous. Instead of waiting for motivation to appear, we need to cultivate discipline to push through even when we don't feel like it. Now that you have a clearer view of the causes of procrastination, it's time to start reflecting on what, specifically, is holding you back. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding? Why? This is a great starting point to begin breaking the cycle. By identifying the root cause, you can begin to develop strategies to overcome it and start taking action towards your goals. Procrastination doesn't just affect your productivity. It has a profound emotional impact that can drain your energy and leave you feeling stuck. It starts with that nagging feeling of knowing there's something you should be doing, but you're avoiding it. Over time, this feeling begins to weigh heavily on your emotions, and it can feel like a constant cloud hanging over you. One of the first emotional effects of procrastination is guilt. Every time you put off something important, a little voice inside your head tells you that you're not doing enough or that you're failing. This guilt builds up over time, creating a constant sense of unease. It's not just about the tasks you're avoiding, it's about how it makes you feel about yourself. The more you procrastinate, the more you start doubting your ability to accomplish things. This inner conflict can chip away at your self-esteem. Another emotional consequence is stress. The longer you delay something, the more pressure builds up. The task you keep putting off starts to grow in your mind, and the longer it lingers, the bigger and more overwhelming it feels. You start to worry about deadlines, the quality of your work, or the consequences of not finishing. This anxiety causes a cycle of stress that ironically makes it even harder to take action. The more stressed you get, the more you want to avoid the task, and the more you procrastinate. Procrastination can also lead to frustration. There's a deep sense of dissatisfaction that comes from knowing you're capable of more, but not Following through. Every time you tell yourself you'll do something tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes, it builds a sense of frustration. You feel like you're not living up to your potential, and this frustration can manifest in many areas of life. It's hard to feel happy or fulfilled when you know you're not doing everything you can to move forward. And let's not forget about shame. Over time, procrastination can lead to feelings of embarrassment or shame, especially when others notice that you've been putting things off or not living up to your commitments. These feelings can make you want to hide, to avoid facing the reality of what you're avoiding. You might even convince yourself that you're just not capable of doing the things that matter, which only deepens the cycle of procrastination. So, how do we break free from this emotional cycle? The first step is recognizing how procrastination affects us on an emotional level. Once we understand the emotional impact, we can start to take control of our feelings and break the cycle of guilt, stress, frustration, and shame. It's about being kind to ourselves and realizing that perfection isn't the goal. Action is think about it. When you finally take that first step and make progress, how does it feel? How much better does your day become when you accomplish something, even if it's just one small thing? That feeling of relief, of lightness, is the exact opposite of procrastination. It's the reward that comes from breaking free of the emotional burden procrastination creates. One of the biggest barriers to overcoming procrastination is the fear of failure. This fear holds many of us back from taking action. We imagine the worst-case scenarios, thinking that if we try and fail, it will reflect poorly on us. But the truth is, failure is a natural part of growth. It's how we learn and improve. Every successful person has failed at some point. What matters is how we respond to failure. Instead of letting it paralyze us, we can choose to learn from it and move forward with more confidence. The first step to overcoming the fear of failure is to reframe failure. Instead of viewing it as something negative, try to see it as a learning experience. Every time you try something and don't succeed, you gain valuable insights that bring you closer to your goal. Remember, failure is not a reflection of your abilities, it's simply part of the process. By shifting your mindset, you can remove the emotional charge around failure and start to take action without the fear of what might go wrong. Another common reason for procrastination is lack of clarity. When we don't have a clear vision of what we need to do or how to approach a task, it becomes easy to avoid it altogether. We tell ourselves, I'll do it later when I figure it out. But waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan is a trap. The truth is, you don't need a perfect plan to start. You just need a direction and the willingness to take the first step, even if it's imperfect. One effective way to gain clarity is to break down the task into smaller, manageable parts. When you look at a big project or goal, it can feel overwhelming. But if you break it down into smaller steps, each step becomes more achievable. Start by asking yourself, what's the smallest thing I can do right now that will move me closer to my goal? This simple shift can help you overcome the feeling of being stuck and get the ball rolling. Remember, progress is more important than perfection. Taking consistent action, even if it's small, will help you build momentum. The more you do, the clearer your path will become. And as you see yourself making progress, your fear of failure will start to fade. You'll realize that the only real failure is not trying at all. Now I want to ask you, what is one small action you can take right now to start overcoming your fear of failure and gain more clarity on your goals? Share it with me in the comments below. I would love to hear what step you're going to take today. And if you're finding this content valuable, don't forget to subscribe for more tips on how to take control of your life and start living with intention. The key to overcoming procrastination isn't waiting for motivation to strike. It's about consistent action. This is one of the most powerful tools you can use to break free from the cycle of procrastination. We often wait for the right moment or the perfect conditions to start something. But the truth is that the best time to begin is always now. Waiting for the perfect moment is just another form of procrastination. Small, consistent actions lead to big results. If you commit to taking even a tiny step every day, you'll be amazed at the progress you'll make over time. Think about a goal you have, whether it's personal or professional. If you take one small action toward it every day, you will find that momentum builds, and what once seemed like a massive task becomes manageable. The power of consistent action lies in the fact that it builds momentum. When you start doing something, it's like a snowball rolling down a hill. Once it gets going, it picks up speed and grows. The same thing happens when you start taking action toward your goals. At first, it may feel slow, but over time, the small actions add up, and you start to see real progress. This process also helps to overcome the fear of failure. Often, we procrastinate because we're afraid of making mistakes or not doing things perfectly. But when you focus on small, manageable steps, the pressure to be perfect decreases. You begin to see that mistakes aren't failures. They're learning opportunities. Every time you take action, even if it doesn't go exactly as planned, you learn something valuable that brings you closer to your goal. Another benefit of consistent action is the boost to your self-confidence. Every time you follow through on a small commitment, you prove to yourself that you are capable. This builds trust in yourself, and the more you believe in your ability to take action, the less you'll procrastinate in the future. Confidence grows with each small victory, and before you know it, you'll find yourself taking bigger steps toward your goals with ease. So, how do you start building consistent action in your life? The first step is to create micro goals. Instead of focusing on the big picture right away, break your goals down into tiny, achievable steps. For example, if your goal is to write a book, your first step might be writing 1 paragraph a day. If your goal is to get fit, it might be taking a 10-minute walk every day. These small steps will lead you to bigger results. Now, I want to challenge you. What is one small action you can take today to build momentum toward your goals? Share it with me in the comments below. Let's hold each other accountable and start taking action together. And if you're finding this video helpful, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more practical tips on how to overcome procrastination and achieve your dreams. Now that we've explored the causes of procrastination and how to break its cycle, it's time to look at how we can use procrastination as a tool for personal growth. Yes, you heard that right. Procrastination, when understood and managed properly, can become a powerful opportunity to grow and develop. The key is in shifting your perspective. When we procrastinate, we often feel bad about ourselves. But what if instead of seeing procrastination as a weakness, we saw it as a sign that something deeper needs attention? Maybe the task you're avoiding isn't just about the task itself. It's about what that task represents. It might be fear of failure, a lack of confidence, or even confusion about what you truly want. When you identify the underlying cause of your procrastination, you open up the possibility of growth. Instead of running from the task, you can take the time to reflect on what's really holding you back and use that insight to create positive change. One powerful way to turn procrastination into an opportunity is by practicing self-awareness. Instead of just pushing the task aside, take a moment to ask yourself, what am I really avoiding here? Is it the task itself, or is it something else? By answering this question honestly, you give yourself the chance to address the real issue. For example, if you're avoiding a presentation because you're afraid of judgment, that fear can be used as an opportunity to work on your self-confidence and public speaking skills. The more you confront what's beneath the procrastination, the more you grow as a person. Another way procrastination can lead to growth is by forcing you to prioritize. When we avoid tasks, we often start focusing on less important things to fill the void. This can help us realize what's truly valuable in our lives. Procrastination can act as a mirror, showing us which tasks or goals matter the most. By recognizing this, we can reassess our priorities and make more intentional choices about where we spend our time and energy. It's also important to note that procrastination isn't always a sign of weakness. Sometimes it can be a sign of needing rest or a break. If you find yourself procrastinating consistently on everything, it might be worth checking in with yourself to see if you're simply exhausted or overwhelmed. Procrastination can be your body's way of telling you that you need to recharge. By listening to these cues, you can give yourself the space you need to return to tasks with renewed energy and focus. Finally, embracing imperfection is key to turning procrastination into a tool for growth. When we strive for perfection, we delay action because we fear not getting it just right. But the truth is, perfection doesn't exist. Taking imperfect action is far better than doing nothing at all. Every time you take action, even if it's not perfect, you learn something that moves you closer to your goal. This mindset shift allows you to see procrastination as an opportunity to learn and improve, rather than as something that holds you back. So, what can you do today to turn your procrastination into an opportunity for growth? Start by identifying one task you've been avoiding and ask yourself why. Then use that insight to take a small step forward. And remember, progress is more important than perfection. Your environment plays a huge role in how productive and motivated you feel. If you want to break free from procrastination, it's essential to create an environment that encourages action rather than one that supports avoidance. A well-organized, inspiring space can be a powerful tool in helping you stay focused and motivated. Let's explore how you can set up your environment to support your goals. The first step in creating an environment that fosters action is to eliminate distractions. Think about where you do your work or spend most of your time. Is it cluttered? Are there distractions around you that make it difficult to focus? If so, this could be a major reason why you're procrastinating. A messy space often leads to a messy mind. By organizing your physical space, you can clear away the distractions that keep you from focusing on what matters most. Another important element of your environment is the digital space. In today's world, it's easy to get sucked into endless social media scrolling or checking emails. These small distractions can quickly derail your productivity. If you find that you're constantly procrastinating by checking your phone or computer, consider using tools that block distracting websites or limit your screen time during work hours. The fewer distractions you have, the easier it will be to focus and take action. Create a space that inspires you. Your environment should reflect the energy and mindset you want to cultivate. Surround yourself with things that motivate and inspire you. This might include quotes that encourage you to stay on track, pictures of your goals, or anything else that reminds you of why you're working towards something important. When you see these reminders, you're more likely to stay focused on your goals and take action. Another strategy is to create designated spaces for specific tasks. If possible, set aside areas of your home or office for particular activities. For example, create a quiet workspace for your work or study, a relaxing space for downtime, and a space for creative activities. Having separate spaces for each activity helps you mentally prepare for the task at hand and signals to your brain that it's time to focus. Finally, set a daily routine that includes intentional breaks. Sometimes, procrastination happens because we feel overwhelmed by the task in front of us. A daily routine that includes designated break times can help keep you refreshed and focused. Taking breaks is essential for recharging your energy and maintaining long-term productivity. It's all about balance, working consistently, but also giving yourself time to rest and recharge. Creating an environment that fosters action isn't about perfection. It's about making small adjustments that support your goals. By eliminating distractions, inspiring yourself, and setting boundaries, you create a space that helps you move forward, not away from your tasks. Now that we've covered the causes of procrastination, how to break its cycle, and how to turn it into a tool for personal growth, it's time to talk about the bigger picture. How can we create a life free from procrastination and filled with true joy? This is where everything we've discussed comes together, and you start to see the transformation in action. Overcoming procrastination is not just about completing tasks. It's about changing your mindset and aligning your daily habits with your long-term goals. The key to living a life without procrastination is to make consistent action part of your daily routine, but also to focus on what truly brings you joy and fulfillment. Procrastination often steals your joy by keeping you stuck in a cycle of avoidance. When you start taking action, even small steps, you begin to reclaim that joy and sense of accomplishment. One powerful way to stay on track and make sure procrastination doesn't take hold, again, is to set clear intentions. Every morning, take a moment to decide what your focus will be for the day. Write down a few tasks that align with your goals and commit to completing them. By setting clear intentions, you create a roadmap for your day, which makes it easier to take action without hesitation. The act of setting intentions helps you stay aligned with your larger purpose, which ultimately keeps procrastination at bay. Another important factor is the mindset shift. Instead of seeing tasks as burdens, start viewing them as opportunities to grow, learn, and achieve something meaningful. When you reframe your perspective in this way, tasks that once seemed overwhelming or frustrating become exciting challenges to overcome. This mindset shift helps you take control of your life and steer it in the direction you want. The more you embrace this mindset, the easier it will be to take action without procrastination standing in your way. As you continue on this journey, remember that self-compassion is key. It's easy to get frustrated or feel guilty if you slip up or procrastinate once in a while. But the most important thing is to be kind to yourself. Growth doesn't happen in a straight line, and setbacks are a normal part of the process. Instead of getting discouraged, use setbacks as learning opportunities. Recognize them, reflect on them, and then move forward. Now, I want to hear from you. How has procrastination affected your life, and what are you going to do today? To start overcoming it, share your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know what small step you're taking toward a life of action and joy. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, be sure to subscribe for more tips on how to take control of your life and live with intention. I'm cheering you on as you move toward the life you truly deserve.